So this quick little tutorial is going to teach you how to bring images into your sequence and how to make them move. So the first thing we're going to do is go down to this panel over here and import media. I saved a cute little picture of a cat to my desktop, but I advise that you guys save things to your hard drives. So anyway, let me import this cute little image of a cat that I found. And oh my gosh, so cute. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is make a sequence. You do not want to drag it over and drop, actually ignore Premiere. It says drop media here to create sequence. No. Be aware of the footage that you're shooting and the project that you're working with. So if we go to File, New, Sequence, and we can adjust our settings, we'll probably realize that we don't want it to be on one of these. We want to go all the way up to custom. And I'm going to assume that you guys are shooting 23.976 frames per second and in a high definition sequence, which is 1920 by 1080. If you're shooting 4K, I advise not to shoot 4K unless you know how to work with 4K. 1920 by 1080 is just fine. And we can come over, everything else looks correct, and now give our sequence a name, which is Cute Kitty. Okay, and now we've made our sequence. Because all of the footage that we're going to be working with within our film, within our thesis project, etc., is going to be 1920 by 1080. However, we might be working with pictures that are either too big or too small for our overall project. So now I can drag this image in, and I can see that this is clearly too small. So let me just do that one more time. I'm going to go ahead and insert that in. I'm going to insert it to the beginning. If I move my playhead all the way to the beginning, and I go over here and press that insert button, that's what it did. And I'll zoom in by pressing the plus sign on my keyboard and making sure that I'm in my timeline. And there we go. Okay. So there's a couple ways we can resize this image. The easiest way is if we right click it and we set to frame size. And bam, it just kind of filled up our whole thing. But there's still these black bars on the side. So maybe scale to frame size. There we go. But now it's too big. So both of these options can kind of be quick fixes, but there's a way to do it that can make it a little bit more personalized and you can have more control over the size of the image. And that's going to be in the effect control panel. So if I come over to this panel over here and I'll extend it and make it bigger, you'll see that there's different tabs that we can activate. Right now we're in the source monitor tab. I'm going to go ahead and set that to fit and go to the effect control tab, which is right next to it. I'll select my image so that it can get activated because you have to select whatever image you want to work in order for your effect control panel to get activated. So because this is a lower resolution, it's not 1920, it's standard definition, not high definition. This picture in my sequence at its fullest capacity is quite small. So I can change this 100 and I can actually make it bigger in order for my image to become bigger. So now if I hover over scale and I select it, now I actually am able to do this. I can manually resize it myself, which is pretty cool. Now, if they go away and you can't fit it, one of the easiest ways is just come over here, and if you hold down with your mouse, you can make it big until you see black no more. But now we have a bit of a problem. Her ears are getting cut off. So the scale zoomed in, but maybe we wanted to go left and right within the frame or up and down. And that's where position works. And now if you see, it's more of like a center button. And if I hold it and I sort of drag it, now I'm moving the position. I'm moving it to the left. I'm moving it to the right, up, down, whatever it may be. And now those numbers within the position have changed. So scale and position. Scale is just like kind of enlarging the image from small to large, but actually now moving the position, again, left or right or up and down within the frame. That's what these two guys do. Now, the most important bit, making it move. We're going to have to make a keyframe. So here's a really good definition of what keyframes are. In animation and filmmaking, a keyframe is a drawing or shot that defines the starting and end points of a smooth transition, or in this case, an effect. A keyframe is a drawing or shot that defines the starting and ending points of a smooth transition. Or an effect. So we want this image to maybe start up here, and let's go to the position, go up here, and then we can have it kind of slowly start tilting down. We have to create 2 keyframes that have a start point and an end point for Premiere. And the way to do that is to go on over to our effect control, and these buttons over here, if you hover over them, it says toggle animation. And if I press that within the effect control panel, now this little icon came up. That represents a keyframe. So now I can drag the image in my position to where I want it to start. To be more precise, you might want to actually mess with the numbers up here. So if I hold it down and I drag it, I can see it's like, okay, I want it to be right there. Now I'll take this blue line, which is my playhead, that indicates where I am within the clip. I'll put it all the way at the end, and I will go over here and I'll add a keyframe. This is pretty much we activated the animation. So now to add additional ones, we go over here and we can add it. I'll drag it all the way to the end of the clip so it doesn't stop abruptly, right? We want it to go all the way at the end. Maybe we'll move it over here so we can edit it, but then we want to move it all the way to the end of the clip so it doesn't end abruptly. And now I can drag this down over here. And now if I bring my playhead back and I watch it, I'll see that my clip is moving. It's fantastic. And we could do the same thing. We could actually zoom in or out. So let's toggle an animation on the scale, creates one there. Let's make it maybe a little smaller. Oh, too small, right there. And now if we drag it all the way to the end and we add one more keyframe, we can make it even bigger. We can kind of zoom in wherever we want it to be. Now, if you want to make an adjustment on the position, make sure you drag your keyframe over so it recognizes it, because you have to do it to the keyframe. And I can drag that up and be like, okay, so that's where I want the shot to end. I want it to kind of zoom in and move up. And so I can move now these all the way to the end. I'll bring my playhead back to the beginning and we can watch this. That is what they call the Ken Burns effect, because there is a documentarian who does a lot of history documentaries, and whenever he has images, he does this effect so that the image plays dynamically in the film. And trust me, and let me remove these by pressing it, the action will delete it. Yes, I'm going to remove it. I'm going to reset it by pressing these guys over here, which is my reset parameter buttons. It works much more better than just having your image like this, right? So going to the effect control panel, kind of zooming in with scale, going up and down with position, and then adding keyframes. It just makes your video incredibly more dynamic. And that is the goal of good editing and good filmmaking. So I hope this helped. All right, guys, get in your projects and have some fun.